This is the only time I'm going to remove my mask to speak. First of all, good morning, everyone. It's definitely good to be here. It's definitely a pleasure to be back out after going through 16 days of dealing with coronavirus. I'm feeling great, and so I'm happy that we are able to bring this testing site here to the West Park area and the Pembroke Park community. But I'm glad that I don't stand alone. I stand alongside with a number of my colleagues, the local elected officials here, our mayor, our sheriff is here, our commissioners are here, our county commissioners here, and our partners here, Koinonia Worship Center and CDR McGuire, who have all joined in to understand the importance of why a testing site in a central location is important, for one, but also the importance of this public health pandemic that we're currently experiencing now here within the state of Florida. I think we all can agree in the media, as you know, that we have the rising numbers here within the state of Florida, that every day we're seeing a different number, whether it comes to cases, whether it comes to hospitalizations, or whether it comes to the amount of ICU beds that have now been occupied. As I said before, these past several months have been unquestionably, they have been difficult here in South Florida because you know that we have been the epicenter of this healthcare crisis with a leadership within this state, that has put it on the backs of mayors and local elected officials. Thank God we have good ones here in South Florida. But I tend to continue to ask the question of who is leading the state of Florida out of this pandemic, who is leading this country out of this pandemic that we're in right now, realizing that both our leaders, the president and our governor, are now singing a different tune of what needs to happen when it comes to protecting the lives of 21 million people here in the state of Florida. Over 5,000 Floridians have lost their lives. My own family have been impacted. My mom, who went into the hospital on Saturday, who is now well. But while the state has failed to lead throughout this crisis, there is one thing that is for sure, that we need to give people in the community access, and we need to give them adequate testing options if we have any hope of getting this situation under control. My colleagues in Tallahassee, we have asked for a special session to deal with a number of things. It was denied by my Republican colleagues because we know our unemployment system that is still unstable has not been resolved. Are we working along with the departments to make sure that the people within our district have the access that they need and the unemployment assistance that they need? Yes, we are doing that. Are we working along with our small businesses to the best of our ability? I'm sure the mayor is going to talk about that. But our small businesses and our people within our community are going to need help. Yes, we are going through this crisis now, right, in COVID, in this pandemic we're in. But this is going to go far beyond after this is said and done. And I hope and pray that the leaders who are watching this are going to stand in unison like we are here today to show that there is a need for our community to not just not to have testing sites that have them accessible, but to also make sure that we're doing everything we can to restore the people of Florida and that pandemic and that COVID-19 does not win. With that being said, to speak of this partnership that we have, I'm going to now call on our Broward County Mayor, Dale Holness.
Good morning, and thank you very much, Representative Shevard Jones, Koinonia Church, and everyone involved in bringing this together. We know certainly that testing is an important part of the process of beating this virus. Testing and results coming back on a timely basis is very important. And then we get into contact tracing and all the other things that we need to do. On our calls yesterday with the mayors of Broward County that I host each week, Dr. Tachi from the Broward Health, in the state of Florida Broward Health Department, told us that 90% of our ICU beds are filled. 90% of our ICU beds are filled. It means that we're at a place where we must do more to stop the spread of this virus. She also pointed out that 60 to 80% of those who are testing now are saying they got it from someone in their family. So even within your family, you must take the necessary precautions to not spread this virus. Social distancing, wearing facial covering, and doing all that the CDC's acts and emergency orders that we have issued. One very important thing that came out yesterday from the hospitals, they're short on remdesivir. It's in tight supply. But what they are using that's been effective also is convalescent plasma. So those who have already had the virus and has recovered fully can donate blood so that we can have that plasma to treat others. And they have partnered with One Blood. And if anyone's listening, please contact oneblood.org. Oneblood.org to make a donation to help your fellow citizens recover from this virus. What we need to do more of is to practice the CDC guidelines. And as a result of that, what we have put in place is some enforcement mechanism to make sure people are doing that. We've now issued a curfew from 11 a.m. to 5, from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. each night, and we're getting stronger enforcements. We've shut down 40 businesses over the past couple of weeks to ensure that they're complying. On a call yesterday, the mayors of Broward County want to see more enforcement. They also want to see people who are not wearing masks also fined, not just the businesses, but everyone, because we're all in this together. All of us are in this together. Everyone is responsible for ensuring that we don't spread this virus any further. We need to beat this virus quickly so we can get to where we can continue to grow our economy and get people back to work, get business back operational. But we can't do that if we don't beat this virus. Now, in terms of small business assistance, we're working with our cities to formulate plans to ensure that the CARES money reach the people who are neediest. That's our small business people who never got any of the CARES fund before. It is those who are renting and landlords who have not gotten any rent payment for a while. We're formulating that, and that will be out soon for us to make sure that we're doing what's necessary to take care of the people who are here, who are suffering economically and medically from this virus. Sheriff Tony will come after me, and he'll talk to you a little bit more about how we're doing with the curfew, how we're doing with enforcement. So I'll bring Sheriff Tony forward. Sheriff Tony.
Thank you, Mayor, and also thank you to all our different colleagues here today, from our elected officials at the city level as well as the county. I wanted to make sure I came here today and speak on the importance of this community taking on their own social responsibility when it comes to the compliance aspect, which is critical for our own safety. The CDC for months now has put out a comprehensive outline of those things that we can do to mitigate the spread of this COVID-19 virus. And we have taken forth initially an idea of providing warnings to our community as we were all learning about this new threat that faced this entire community, this entire country. Unfortunately, warnings has not been enough, as the mayor has alluded to. And the county administrator, along with the mayor, has had to take a much more aggressive tone in the sense of new executive orders or administrative orders that were passed. And we at the Broward Sheriff's Office are now changing the mindset and approach into how we are going to communicate with our community when they do violate these particular restrictions that are set forth. In fact, we've taken so much of a more aggressive tone in that we are citing people. We are dealing with shutting down businesses, and we will keep that tone. This is a public safety issue. It's not just a matter of are we focused on trying to restrict liberties and rights. That is not the intent behind any executive order or administrative order that is passed. But we can't be the ones that control this exclusively, meaning your elected officials, the people you put in office, me as the sheriff of this organization. We cannot do this on our own. This is going to take the entire community to have ownership, take responsibility, and make sure that they do the things that can minimize the spread of this virus. We cannot get back into a point where we have to shut down this entire county because of simply people not complying. I cannot express that message anymore to this community that we have to pick up the weight as a community and do the things that are important. It is not overly intrusive to require people to wear a mask. It is not overly intrusive to request someone to clean their hands. And nor is it unreasonable to expect people to keep a distance of 6 feet while we're dealing with this entire threat. The Sheriff's Office, along with our municipal partners and law enforcement organizations, will be out enforcing these administrative orders that have been passed, and will be doing so for sake of public safety. A few days ago, I talked about the launch of a new initiative or task force element where we are out shutting down a multitude of parties, cutting down on some of these roving car shows, which is impacting public safety twofold. It is no longer just about minimizing large gatherings, but we're seeing the byproduct of some of these gatherings resulting in violence. And we can't have that in our community. So you will see our men and women out serving this community. You will see us out enforcing those administrative orders that are vital for public safety. And I would encourage you one more time to be in compliance with the recommendations that the CDC has put forth, as well as the Florida Department of Health, and we can get through this together. But it's going to take every single person in this community. We're roughly 2 million strong here in Broward County. It's going to take 2 million efforts to make sure we safeguard this community. So thank you all very much. For our media colleagues, I apologize. I have to run, as well as to all my elected officials. I have to go to another meeting. However, Major Tim Irvin is in the room should there be any questions expanding upon some of the things we talked about today. And thank you all again.
Thank you so much, Sheriff. And thank you to your team also, Captain Coker, for the work that they're doing here in West Park. Now we're also going to call our County Commissioner, Barbara Sharif.
Good morning. I'm County Commissioner Dr. Barbara Sharif, and I am the District 8 County Commissioner. This is my area, and it is one of the areas that is most hardest hit by the COVID infections that we're seeing. If you look at the Broward County dashboard, you will see that there are many zip codes on the eastern portion of this district that have displayed higher numbers. We understand that our population of COVID-19 positive patients is becoming younger as we've gone through this. What I am asking on behalf of Broward County is that people abide by the mask rules, people wash their hands, and above all, follow the sanitation guidelines. Keep your hands away from your face. We've known for a while now that putting your hands on a surface that's infected and touching your face is an issue. These are some very simple rules that you can abide by to keep the spread of COVID down. Wearing a face covering is going to decrease your spread substantially, so I will not be taking mine off today. I would also like for you to understand that Broward County is working very hard to not shut down this county again. There are many restaurants out there that are doing it right. There are many business establishments out there that are doing it right. But what is occurring cannot continue, and that is some people abiding by the rules and others are not. So I'm not going to get up here today and tell people what they need to do, but I'm going to ask you to please abide by the rules that are set in place. We understand that people have been out of work for months. Broward County is rolling out a program for rental and mortgage assistance come the end of this month before the governor's moratorium is lifted. What that means is that Broward County residents who have not paid their rent and their mortgage are going to be able to take advantage of some of the COVID care dollars that Broward County has received. This district, I know, is heavily hit. We get lots of calls. So I want to convey that to you, that help is on its way. At this point in time, I really don't see a reason to prolong this, so I'm going to turn it back over to State Representative Chevron Jones, and I'll be here for questions if you have some later. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Sharif. We could not allow this to happen, the testing site, without the partnership of Cornell Worship Center and with CDR McGuire, who I'm so grateful to them and to the governor's office and to Director Jared Moskowitz for this partnership. So at this time, I'm going to have Tina McGuire, who's going to come and to address, talk about this partnership.
Thank you, Representative. I really appreciate you and the Worship Center for having us here. You have been a champion of Pembroke Park and the citizens here, and a champion of testing and everything that is going on to help save lives and keep people safe during this pandemic. So we really appreciate you welcoming us with open arms and allowing us to do this. We could not do this without the help of Pastor Jones and Representative Shervin Jones and our lab partner, Jeanette Works. And so we really appreciate everything that they've done to help make this happen as well. CDR McGuire has been part of the COVID response since the beginning, and you know, it is a very big passion of my husband and I, who own CDR McGuire, to test as many people as possible. We know firsthand how testing and early intervention and making sure that people are aware they're positive and letting other people know that they've come in contact with that they're positive, and how important that is to preventing the spread of COVID-19. My husband, Carlos, was recently hospitalized with COVID. He was one of those very severe cases and almost died. And I do believe that his life was saved because somebody that had COVID-19 donated plasma, and he was able to receive a plasma donation. And I firmly believe that is the one thing that saved his life. So I'd like to use this opportunity with all of you here to continue to spread the word that if you've tested positive for COVID-19 and recovered, to please donate plasma. It is very similar to donating blood. It is not painful, and it is a rather quick process, and you can donate often. And your donation will help save lives. It helped save the life of my husband, so that I still have a husband today, and my 2 young children, who are 2 and 10 months, have a father. We are so passionate about testing and have done everything that we can in our power and with the resources of our lab and our company to help widen the spread of testing with the state of Florida and with the help of Director Moskowitz and the governor. And so we really appreciate everything that they've done to try and continue to expand testing in the state of Florida. I can tell you that everyone up there in Tallahassee at the Division of Emergency Management has worked around the clock to help combat the spread of this pandemic. There are many people there that have worked for 120 plus days without a day off to continue to fight this for the citizens and the residents of Florida. We will continue our partnership with the state and other partnerships like this with Representative Jones to help continue to spread testing. We are committed to continuing to give back to the community with pop-up test sites like this and providing donations of testing and lab services to ensure that we can test as many people as possible in some of our hardest hit communities. So I thank you for your time, and thank you again for having us.
Well, thank you, Tina. At this time, we're going to have West Park Vice Mayor Brian Johnson, and then following him, we'll have West Park Commissioner Felicia Brunson.
Good morning, everyone. My name again is Brian C. Johnson, and I am the Vice Mayor of the great city of West Park. And I just want to take a few minutes to speak directly to the about 15,000 good people who are my neighbors here in the city of West Park. We need every resident of West Park to do your part to help flatten the curve in Broward County. The sooner we succeed at stopping the spread of this deadly virus, the safer we will all be, and the quicker we can return to being some semblance of normal. Now, this is where I'm going to be a little honest. The governor and his administration continue to minimize the seriousness of this deadly pandemic in order to maximize the profits of a damaged economy. Unfortunately, there are many people who are trusting our state political leaders and are actually believing the misinformation. As a result, too many people are letting their guards down, rejecting protective measures, and risking their own lives under false pretenses. In West Park, we have done a lot of things to help our residents deal with the economic stress of this. We've created a temporary rent and utilities program where we, as a small city with a very limited budget, have already had to make very tough decisions to reallocate funds so that we can make funds available to help our residents with rent and utilities. As a matter of fact, every elected official in the city of West Park have donated our salaries for the rest of this year so that we can create more opportunities for our residents to get help. So we haven't been paid since April 30th, and we won't get paid, at least I won't get paid again as long as I'm here as I move on. So we're serious as city leaders about helping our residents. But hear me, y'all, we can recover a damaged economy, but we can't recover the lives of dead neighbors that we're losing to this pandemic. Don't be fooled into believing that this virus is fake because the funerals are absolutely real. Do all you can to protect yourself and your family. Wear your mask, wear your eye coverings, wash your hands, avoid touching your face with unwashed hands, social distance, or stay at home if you can. Avoid large gatherings, and please follow all of the local emergency orders that you've heard about. Finally, get tested so that you will know your status. Thanks to Representative Jones and CDR McGuire and the Koinonia Worship Center, that part of stopping the spread has been made easier here in the city of West Park. Thank you all.
Good morning. Again, I am Commissioner Felicia Brunson from the City of West Park. We wanted to take this opportunity to thank our state representative, Chevron Jones, because out of his own experiences, his own illness, his own family experience, we are here today to say that West Park is concerned about our numbers, we are concerned about our residents, and we want to do something about it. We are encouraging all of our residents, not only in West Park, but as our county commissioner mentioned, the entire South County, to take advantage of this opportunity for the next 2 days so that we can flatten this curve. It is so important. We understand that everyone is tired. We understand the frustration, but every day we're getting phone calls of another person that has lost their life to COVID. So with that, we need to make sure that we are being careful in every essence of our daily life. We need to make sure that we're wearing our masks, that we're washing our hands. We understand that families want to congregate. We understand you want to have family events, parties, and things like that. But we're asking you to please be careful. It is because of those things that are happening in our communities that our numbers continue to rise. So we're asking everyone to take responsibility in this, again, to ensure that we flatten this curve. Take advantage of the testing. Make sure that you are doing what you need to do in your family to make sure that our community is safe. And again, we want to thank Rep. Chevron Jones for having this idea, again, out of his own pain, to make sure that his constituents are taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. The last speaker that we will have is Ms. Rosalind Frazier, who is the CEO of Broward County Family Health Center, which is right here in the city of West Park. I'll bring some closing remarks. I'm going to have the mayor to come to give any Broward County updates, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Good morning, everyone. As he said, my name is Rosalind Frazier. I'm the CEO for Broward Community Family Health Center. We're located in 5 areas of Broward County, but we do have a facility located right here in the city of West Park. Thank you, Representative Jones and the City of West Park Commission and our County Commission for providing an opportunity to speak before our community. And I want to share with you those sometimes that we forget about. So when you when you don't wear a mask, the people who are on the front lines providing the care to our patients, those are the ones who are also at risk. So think about that. You come in to get even when you come today to get your testing done here at Koinonia today, that you will see that the ones who are getting ready to do that test have to put on a full gown, full protection. I'm wearing an N95, and I'm telling you, this is the most uncomfortable thing to wear all day instead of a cloth mask. And think about those who are in it all day long, fully clothed. And when they come home to their families, they walk through, don't go through the door, they go to the front door and disrobe right at home. So please keep them in mind, because sometimes we think that it's just their job to do it, but they don't have to do it. But please, there's many people who are at risk from the hospitals, from my community health centers. They're true warriors here in Broward County. And please keep them in mind when you decide to not wear your mask. when you decide to not wash your hands, and when you decide to not social distance, you are putting them at risk in addition to your family. They also are the ones, if your family is hospitalized, they're the ones you communicate with when they're there and they may be losing their lives, or they're scared. They can't communicate otherwise through FaceTime. Please keep those individuals in mind when you're not doing what the commission and the members are asking you to do. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity. One last thing, PPE started to get short. PPE, again, is starting to get short. So please think about what the assistance that's being provided to you through our frontline workers. Thank you so much. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you so much. In the closing, as you all can see right now, that the individuals who stand with me, alongside me, and we all work together, we all want to shorten the curve. And I appreciate Commissioner Brunson for her words, because I can share one thing with all the people who are probably watching this. You do not want to go through the experience of COVID-19. 18 days of my life that I went through COVID, there were 5 of those days that I did not think that I would wake up in the middle of the night because it was that bad. It's not fun to have a mother and a father and a brother to have COVID. My mom, who had to go to the hospital on Saturday, she spent Saturday, Sunday, and Monday inside the hospital, and we can't go see her, and we have to talk to the nurse through FaceTime to make sure that they're going to give her the wrong medication or to make sure she gets the right medication. That's not what you want. And so we're not standing here to make a political statement. I said we're standing here today to make a statement for your safety, for your health, and to ensure that you can go back home to your families. Again, thank you to CDR McGuire. Thank you to the mayor, our county commissioner, our commissioners, and for all of their help. And I do also want to thank the governor's office for allowing this testing site and also Director Moskowitz to do it. And for those of you, I will say this, for those of you who have had COVID, do the right thing. I'm going to donate my plasma. And you should do it also to make sure that we can save a life. At this time, I'll call County Commissioner Dale Holness if he has any Broward County updates, and we'll take any questions, and then we can conclude.
Thank you again, State Rep Chevron Jones. 42,000 people in Broward County has tested positive for COVID-19. It's not a joke. It's not a hoax. This is real. People are dying. It is incumbent on all of us to play a role of ensuring that we're following the CDC guidelines, the emergency orders that have been set forth. And please, if you have had COVID-19 and you've recovered, donate to plasma, to One Blood. And you can go to oneblood.org, oneblood.org. Encourage others to do so. You will save a life. Thank you.
Now we'll open it up for questions. Ms. McGuire, can we ask you a couple quick questions about the testing site?
If you could give us a mic, we appreciate it so much, man. Did you tell us this was 2 days, is that right?
Yeah, so just real quick, my name is Tina Vidal.
Oh,
Yeah, no problem.
T-I-N-A, what's last name?
Vidal, V as in Victor, I-D as in David, A-L.
Thank you.
Yes, and we're doing this 2 days here, today and tomorrow.
Can you elaborate how it's going to work?
In conjunction with the representative and Pastor Johnson, we've set it up so that there's hours in the morning from 9 to 11 for 65 and older. Obviously, we understand that they're a higher risk population, and so we would like to give them the availability to come get tested in an environment where they're not exposed to the younger population and helping try and segregate them to keep them safe. We've established a format and a floor plan within the worship center here where you enter and exit from 2 different areas, and we are practicing social distance guidelines. We do have a big sign right when you first walk in advising you to please wear a mask. If you don't have a mask, CDR McGuire is going to provide one for you for free. We've set up the floor with round circles so that you know that you're 6 feet apart from everywhere else. You'll come in, you'll get registered, and then you'll be escorted to one of 3 swabbing stations where one of our certified and registered paramedics or EMTs We'll perform a nasopharyngeal swab on you, and then you'll exit out of the building, and you should have your results within 3 to 5 days.
Ma'am, how many people do you expect to test?
At least 1,000.
And is there a requirement to show an ID in Broward County?
There's not a requirement to show ID, but we do ask for your ID just because it makes the registration process go easier.
And ma'am, you said 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. is 65 plus?
Yes.
And then can you elaborate on other hours? And
Yeah, the testing site will be open from 9 to 5 today and tomorrow.
How are people receiving the results?
Through one of various methods, and they get a card, an information card when they exit that'll advise them how they're going to receive the results. Right when they result from the lab, they should receive a text message. That text message is going to say Jeanette Works Lab, and that's very specific on the card. There is a lot of spam and fraud that's going on, and so we like to make sure that people are aware that when they get a text message, it is going to say from Jeanette Works Lab. There'll be a link that they can click, and they'll have to put in a couple pieces of identifying information, usually their name and date of birth, and then the results will be provided to them.
Where does your lab get its test from?
The actual kits, I'm not familiar with their process of where they actually get their kits from, but we do know that their kits are FDA certified.
What's the turnaround time for the results?
On average, it's about 72 hours, but we give a window of about 3 to 5 days.
And is it only for Broward County residents?
We're doing a couple different pop-up sites throughout the Tri-County area. We did one yesterday in South Bay. We're here for 2 days, and then we've got a couple upcoming ones in the coming weeks as well.
ma'am, everybody's welcome? What's the best way to?
Yes, everybody's welcome.
So if you live in North Bay, you can come up and do the test.
I don't believe there's any restrictions on who can come get tested. We've set it open for everybody to come get tested. From our perspective, the more people that get tested, the better, and wherever you come from, but as long as you get tested.
And today's, so it's Wednesday and then Thursday at 5 p.m. you'll be done?
Correct.
You kind of do more in South Florida?
We do. We've got 2 that are happening next week on Tuesday and Wednesday in Hialeah Gardens.
Where in Hialeah Gardens?
Yes.
Where in Hialeah?
At the Senior Center, right next to City Hall.
I'm sorry, what's the name of your company?
CDR McGuire. Any other questions? Thank you guys very much for being here. We appreciate it.